I can tell you two possible approaches. The first one is what Google was doing in kind of the 2015 plus or minus two era, which is to decide that the peculiarities of the ML situation, particularly when it came to very complicated kind of production resolution things, was impractical to expect an SRE team, even one composed of a bunch of PhDs in statistics, to actually master in a useful period of time. And so what they did is help to create a situation where A, it's kind of more expected to escalate, B, the time that you have to respond, and this is actually a crucial point, the time you have to respond is much larger because model degradation generally happens on a much larger timescale than a web service going down. So it's both less immediately urgent to respond, and you might not have all of the skills to respond usefully. So the thing that matters is second item, creating what's called a big red button, a fixed, relatively context-free mechanism that you can just mash heavily with your hand and have that do something useful in production. This almost always means model rollback. And obviously in the Google internal production system, rollback and so on is relatively well understood operation. This is not the case everywhere, but that's why it's good to pay attention to constructing a software-based, I mean, you could turn it into a hardware-based big red button if you wanted, and I'm sure people have, but basically something you can press which will revert back quickly or known good state quickly. Now, of course, ML is complicated, the world is complicated. Sometimes model reversion doesn't work. In the classic SRE space, we would often say that reversion, rollback of some kind, when accompanied by a schema change is tricky because the software expects the columns to be in a particular format and the columns are not in a particular format and you cannot copy the...
That's happened to me. That's happened to me not too long ago, actually.
Okay, so if rollback is not possible and you find yourself doing roll forward, well, okay, now your build process has to be big red buttonable, which is to say I need to mash the emergency button and have something built as soon as possible, which built from head or whatever, or cherry picked, which can be rolled out in production with the new schema and work well and so on. So those are really the approaches I have seen. Are there other potential approaches? I suspect so.
Whether or not to learn.
Yeah, right.